A big thank you to everybody who has shown the podcast some major love since it was uploaded first. Both my guests and myself are very appreciative of all the comments and the wonderful kind messages that were passed on to us. And yet again, we're working closely with the wonderful local business that is at twistedwirestarter_ for some epic sponsorship. And we really appreciate your input as a local business, and to work alongside you is an absolute pleasure. So shout out to Ashley once again. And without further ado, episode 2. Hello, welcome to the podcast. It's Leanne's Lounge. I'm at Fuinneamh Festival, which is located out in Dundalk. I am walking through savage muck that has been occurring thanks to the 3 days of continuous rain that we've just had over the weekend. Of course, in great Irish fashion, the sun is out and it's departure day, so there's loads of people packing up their stuff and they're heading off. Party still seems to be going in some forms. I mean, there's vendors operating to the max. Of course, there's people bopping away, still enjoying the last moments of it before they go back to reality. But yeah, while we're here, there's epic art installations around the place. I'm just taking a little walk around, looking at all of the stages in sheer beauty now that it's been day 3. So I'm just approaching a stage that I was in attendance of over the weekend heavily, which is called the Lotus Live stage. It included a lot of live bands and they were absolutely fantastic, to say the least. I didn't know any of them that were going to be performing, but I thought it was a wonderful occurrence because as we sat down, we had waited for the next band each time to be arriving on stage and their presence was being felt. And just as they set up, we were kind of guessing what sort of style of musical output they were about to deliver, and it was really good. It was a surprise every single time a different band stepped on stage, and there was just crowds after crowds forming in support of each of them, and they varied widely. The first couple that I seen performing on the Lotus Live stage was actually a couple who were both blind, and they were spreading the message of love through their music, and it was really, really heartfelt. It was just such a strong presence on stage, and it was like no effort at all to the two of them. They had wonderful voices. That was really fantastic to be able to experience that, and just to be an audience member of all of these different bands that had performed. It just felt good, just felt alive. This whole festival has been absolutely brilliant. And for the first time to this festival, it's knocked it out of the park, to say the least. I think the overall arrangement of the festival has been very well put together. Everybody who was volunteering or whatever the role was that caused them to be here, it just all came together so beautifully. It was very, very special to be a part of this, and to be able to get a couple of discussions with a few different people was really nice as well. It was great to be able to have a couple of them hosted onto the podcast, but overall it was just such a wonderful experience to be here, and I really do look forward to the next one, and hopefully Leanne's Lounge can have a little bit more of an input and get a few different conversations with different performers next year. It's a lovely little festival. It's very heartwarming. It's very independent, which is their main goal of staying independent, to provide it in such a manner that they do deliver. No major sponsorships, anything like that. It's just built around the want of people coming together. As I bring you this little analysis, I'm gazing out onto what is just a stunning, like really breathtaking view of thousands of trees in the surroundings as they peer down over everybody camping. It's just a breathtaking experience to be able to live through this for the weekend. They even conducted a forest walk as a workshop that was available. Granted, it was in very torrential rain at the time that it was scheduled for, but it was not to be helped, and the show did go on because it must, and it was beautiful. It was really, really beautiful. Maybe with a little bit of sunshine creeping in now, it would have been enjoyable to have that over the weekend, but even with the fact of the rain being here, it didn't deter people from just becoming immersed in the art and culture and performances, workshops, talks, and it felt like the most safest festival that I've ever been at in my life, and I've been to a good few since I originally started attending any festival, and I look forward to speaking about it again and hopefully speaking with some people involved in performances and workshops or anything that they were able to facilitate over the weekend and involvement that they may have had. So thank you for listening. So Luke, thanks very much for your time. How are you getting on?
Feeling a bit tired now, but very happy.
Yeah. Would you like to give a quick intro on who you are and how this all came about?
Yeah, so I'm Luke Reddy, I'm the founder of Fuinneamh Festival. How did this all come about? Well, Fuinneamh started as a series of underground parties in the Wicklow Mountains over 10 years ago, and it's been a slow kind of evolution of the project since then, with a lot of really beautiful people involved and a lot of heart and love and dedication gone into this project to get it to this point. And this weekend has been, I suppose, the crown jewel of Fuinneamh's so far, despite the weather. The energy was just so high and so positive all weekend out there in the field, and the production level was the best it's ever been. All the crew were happy, all the people that came were happy, and yeah, we're just absolutely over the moon and so filled with gratitude at how everything has gone.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant to be a part of this. Like, I'm really grateful that I was able to link up with you and get some sort of involvement in the festival. I can tell that there's a lot of work gone into this. So how long have you been preparing with everybody before this kicked off?
This year?
Yeah, this year, like in the setup and the build and stuff.
I suppose, I mean, we've been working on this year since the day after last year ended, but things start to get I suppose physical, and you're really busy from April onwards with a lot of logistical management, and then we're coming up and down from the site then from about a month out, and then from 2 weeks out we essentially live down here on site, and we're putting this place together. But this year was made a lot smoother and a lot easier because everything that we had built last year in 2022 we were able to store, and that makes an easier build. Like, a lot of the stage designs last year were only added to rather than built start to finish. Last year a lot of work went in. This year we were able to put a finesse on that work we'd already created.
Fantastic. So you're already pondering next year, perhaps?
Big time. Yeah. Actually, absolutely. Like, you have to always be kind of thinking of the future, and now is like the best time to put all this energy that we've created this year into action, because sometimes, no, every other time we've been coming off the back of making a big loss, yet you still have to find the place in your heart where you find the encouragement to continue. And this year makes it that bit easier, because what was created out in that field this weekend is the most magical Fuinneamh yet. So we're all full of, I suppose, inspiration and encouragement to keep the project going and keep evolving Fuinneamh.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Like, this is my first Fuinneamh, and I mean, like, I feel like I've come to an absolute stomper of an event. It feels so amazing to be a part of this. I haven't felt this since Knocking Stocking years ago.
So amazing.
And that felt special. So to feel this sort of unity and like camaraderie and everybody getting involved so well, it felt special to be a part of it for me anyway.
I'm delighted to hear that, and yeah, I think that has been the general consensus with everyone who has been involved, and just have so much gratitude for that as well, that everyone does feel that, and that all the crew that are here feel like their work is valued, and I suppose that it is a real co-creation. Fuinneamh is a real co-creation, and everyone pours their heart and soul into it, and that's really felt by everybody that comes and anyone who's a part of it, because I think that's what it's all about. Like, we all want to be a part of something and have this kind of community atmosphere around the things that we do, and Fuinneamh has just evolved that way, and I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah. It's brilliant. So, I mean, it sounds like there's absolutely no regrets in looking back from starting this from day one, and it just looks like it's only going to get bigger and better, like in the most independent way possible. I love the independent sort of approach that you have took on everything. It keeps everything very special. Like,
sure.
It doesn't feel took over by any names for any agendas. It just feels like it's about the cause of what you're pushing as the movement here.
That's what it is, like, Fuinneamh is not a commercial enterprise, it is a project. It's a beautiful little project that is completely independent from its core outward, and at no part of this were we ever in any way interested in bringing on someone who could foot the bill and put more tickets through the gate for us and get a big payoff at the end, because it's just not what this is about
Yeah.
at all. You know, if you put the time and the love and the effort in, eventually, you know, your time becomes of value as well, and the project can, like, the project can breathe, and the hours that people put in, you know, everyone gets paid for what they do,
Yeah.
but it's not about making big, you know, 10x profit on this year and bigger the next year, you know, like that's not ever what we're thinking about. Like, I
The
have
sentimental value
yeah,
behind the
exactly.
roles
You know,
that
obviously you
everybody
have to
play.
value yourself for your work, and that's why Fuinneamh has been difficult, because we've never even taken so much as a penny from it. We've actually been paying to put it on every year,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, it has to get to a point where it can survive because of the effort that goes into it from all of the core crew, you know, and people have to be valued for their time. And I think this year was a sign that an independent festival in Ireland can actually survive, you know,
Yeah.
and it can evolve naturally as an independent without any sort of, you know, commercial sponsorship. And I think that's important. It's really important for the people that come to have a space that's free from anything that's trying to take your attention away from the experience that you're having as yourself.
Yeah.
I think festivals are a place where we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, you know, and we can connect deeper with ourselves and the others around us, and we go into an almost trance state where epiphanies can form. But if you've already painted the what to think about with your brands everywhere, you've kind of stolen people's trance state, and you've stolen it. You've stolen the experience. You've told them what to think. You've told them to buy this or buy that, or, you know. So that's just not what Fuinneamh's
Comes
about.
with an agenda.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It comes with an agenda. And look, I'm not saying that that's wrong either, you know. Fuinneamh feels more special because those things exist too, and, you know, those projects that are able to pump big money, and they can do other things that Fuinneamh can't as well, you know. So it's both have to exist, and it's totally cool. Like, I'm not having a go at anything that is commercial, you know. It's just that's just not what
It's
this
not the
is.
vibe.
Exactly. Yeah.
So why this space in particular? Why? Because it feels very special to be here. Like, I love being immersed in all of the nature, sort of like the thousands of trees that are surrounding the tents alone is just
Yeah,
breathtaking in scenery. Like, but why this particular spot? If you can pinpoint any reason.
This just came naturally. It just was part of the journey, you know. I found this space years ago. I used to rent out sound systems when I was running the earlier versions of Fuinneamh parties, and I ended up here at one of them running a stage at a little tiny party, and I always knew about this beautiful site, and it was always on my mind that something could be done. In 2016 we were gifted the opportunity to put on our first proper festival up here.
Amazing.
And, like, literally it's become home ever since, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a really special place because you're overlooked by a native Irish woodland. There's so much beautiful forestry around here. There's so much nature, and I think it's important for people to see the beauty in nature in all of its majesty, because then you really know what you're trying to respect, you know, when it's there in front of you, you know, like that hill that overlooks the campsite. Breathtaking, you know. And, like, when we say things like, you know, look after the land, you see why, because it's so beautiful.
You
know?
wouldn't ever want to take away from that natural
No,
beauty.
exactly.
Like,
So we're just so lucky that we get to put Fuinneamh on here, you know.
Yeah, it's a treasure.
Grateful, yeah.
So you perform here. You perform every year at Fuinneamh?
A couple of years I haven't, because I've just been way too busy, and it's never really been feasible, you know.
Yeah.
But the last 2 years I've been able to get up and spin a few tunes. Yeah, I produce a bit of electronic music myself, and I've been lucky enough to get up and do the closing set on the Saturday night on the Owen Lyman stage, which has been a really special thing to be able to share my music to a big crowd at a big stage, you know.
Yeah, you strike me as somebody very creative in a lot of manners, but how does it feel to be in that zone DJing, like, for people?
Otherworldly, like a dream. It's mental. Like, you know, it's you need to kind of breathe and kind of try and ground yourself in the moment and be present, because it goes like that, you know. And I think I managed to get about an hour into the set. I realised what I was doing and started to feel into it. But it's nerve-wracking experience as well when you're up in front of that many people, you know.
Yeah.
But
You put your trust in your music, though. You've been doing it for a good few years now, so
yeah, I've been producing electronic music since 2011. Probably was the driving force behind putting on parties, because at the start I wasn't getting booked anywhere to play, so I had to put on my own parties.
You brought the people to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So you made the music, and they all showed up.
Yeah, exactly,
good.
exactly.
You put the sound out there for the recognition.
Yeah.
It's good. I like that. It's good to be able to create that platform, and that's actually the reason behind this podcast as well. I feel like I've personally met a very large amount of influential people like yourself, and the reason behind the podcast was to help create a platform for everybody to showcase their work and talk about themselves and what they're putting out there in the world. So really that's the driving force behind it for me, but it's nice to be able to see that in an event form you've done the same here for many people over.
Amazing.
Including yourself, obviously.
Yeah. Well,
nice.
it's definitely awesome to be able to give people a platform, you know, to showcase their art, because there's so many talented people out there.
They really deserve it. Like.
Absolutely,
yeah, they really do.
So that's amazing that's what you're doing with this podcast.
Yeah,
you know,
hopefully so.
I'm really honoured to be a part of it.
Oh, thanks very much. I'm grateful for it. Now I have to give a good shout out to the Lotus Live stage, because I was a big attendee over the weekend at that. I'm a big fan of live bands, and I have to give a shout out to Shakalak, because I'm blown away by them.
Yeah, the boys are unreal.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now
I didn't get to see them this weekend myself. I was too busy.
They are playing in Dublin. They were letting us know, so I'm going to try and engage with them during that. Yeah,
I've seen them
it
a
looks
couple
great.
of times before, and they're absolutely amazing. And I heard their gig down here was absolutely class. So
I think, like, to be honest, I felt like I was a fresh pair of ears sitting down to each band that was setting up on that, and many of the creators for like the EDM music over the course of the weekend as well. But to sit there and, you know, not have a clue about some of the people that are getting on that stage, and then just to be blown away by the performances, I thought it was an epic lineup in all manners of like each of the stages in their own individuality, like.
That
But
just shows
the
you
band,
what's
like,
here in Ireland, doesn't it?
It's sheer talent, like.
Yeah, it's absolutely next level, you know?
Yeah.
Like, even across the electronic stage, it's like, I think we probably only had 5 or 6 international acts, 6, maybe 7. After that, it's all made up of local talent, you know? And that just shows you what's here in Ireland. It's absolutely amazing, and I'm so happy that Fuinneamh gets to be a platform for that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It looks to be one of them spots where people are going to crave to be on the stage of, because of the feeling of the audience.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is actually. It's a difficult thing trying to put the lineup together, because we do get like an insane amount of people that really want to play here.
How do people go about applying for a spot at Fuinneamh?
I suppose contacting us through our info at, or because of the nature of Fuinneamh being an intimate independent, word of mouth, and trying to get in contact with us through someone you might know, you know what I mean, a friend of ours, or you know, it's because of the volume of submissions we get, it is hard to get through everything, and sometimes we miss talent, you know, and you know, it's something that we're going to focus on more as time goes on, and try and really give everyone their spot and their chance. Yeah.
Fantastic. Listen, it's just lovely to be a part of this whole experience, and I can't thank you enough for my inclusion in the whole process of it. But on behalf of anybody who was able to help out and were able to get in touch with you to be here, just a really big thank you. Like, it actually means a lot.
Daddy, thank you. Like, honestly, it was great having you here, and I hope you had an amazing time. And thanks, and gratitude to everyone who was a part of it.
Yeah, thanks very much for your time for the interview as well.
Thanks.
Okay, all the best, Luke.
Cheers.
I've just been to a storytelling performance here, and I got hold of the storyteller himself. So, Sean, lovely to have you. I'm just wondering if you could give a little introduction to yourself and what you're doing here at Fuinneamh.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I tell old Irish folklore stories, but I write my own versions of them. So they've existed in Irish culture for countless generations, but I've given them my own twist, put my own identity and character on them. So, for example, what I just did today was Usheen McCool and the land of Tirnan Og. I spoke about the life of Kilcullen, and I did the children of Lear as well.
Brilliant, that's fantastic. It was very engaging to be a part of the audience, like being immersed in the storytelling. Like, I really liked your take on how you deliver them. How long have you been storytelling?
Actually, about a year. My first gig ever was in Fuinneamh last year.
Brilliant, fantastic. So it's your second go then this year here.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I got to know Luke at a festival. I actually just off the cuff did a story in front of him, and he was like, you know what, bring that to Fuinneamh. I'll put you on a mic. I'll give you a mic, put you on a stage.
Brilliant. I mean, like, you stand and deliver very, very well. So I think you done a good job on picking you and getting a good spot for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just a lot of work. You know, just a lot of rehearsal and studying. And yeah, just a lot of work, but I've done the work, you know, and it's a beautiful thing when you know you've done the work and you can deliver like that, and I'm just very, very happy because you're always a little bit nervous. That was the longest gig I've ever done there. That was like an hour straight, I think it was, and but I'm very happy with it, you know.
Brilliant. I thought it was a fantastic job. It was something I've never experienced in the audience of, like, I've been to stand up, I've been to gigs, concerts. It was really different, really different. Like, you had pure silence, everybody's attention was on you. Very engaging from all corners of the room there, well, the tent in this case, but yeah, fantastic. So when did you, like, have you been writing or anything, or is it just pure storytelling that's been your go-to? Like, have you a different structure of how you got into reading so much and delivering it in this manner, or did you ever write your own stories before?
Yeah, honestly, I've kind of wandered into this. So I've done many creative things. We would write poetry. I started off doing spoken word gigs. Like many Irish people, I would have read the stories when we were kids, but didn't really think much of them until I became a tour guide and I started telling the stories to tourists, and it just reconnected me with how great these stories were. And I said that, you know, I'm going to make this my own because, like I said, I love writing, and so that's what I did. And I really doubled down this year, gone on writing trips and so on, and just did that like day in, day out, where I'm just writing. And yeah, hopefully working way towards a book. But I'm not there yet. But like, as I said, I'm quite new to this, so I'll get there eventually. But yeah, you're right in what you're saying, because like the Shanachie, the storyteller, used to be such an important part of Irish culture, and it's something that seems to be fading away. I've been surprised by how little people are doing it, and the people that are doing it don't seem to be young. So like, I'm only 30 years old, you know, so I feel like it's very important to keep it going, and it's amazing seeing the reactions of people. Not only saying, oh, well done, it's good, but there's been a lot of gratitude being shown, which has totally taken me by surprise. But now that I think about it, I get it. Like, you know, it is such an important part of our culture, and I'm just delighted to be able to actually just keep it going.
Yeah, it's nice to know that somebody is so interested in carrying suit with such a historical sort of aspect in culture. You know, nowadays we have TVs, phones, attention on demand, you know. At the drop of a hat, anything is available. But back then, that's where people got their kicks from, was, you know, gathering around the fireplace, trying to hear each other's information. And it's kind of like how the day was. It ended in a folklore kind of based story, so it was quite interesting. Yeah. So, like, were you told these as a young kid growing up that got some sort of a spark engaged in them?
The only thing I really remember, I was never told them, no. The only thing I really remember was I read a book. There was a book around my house. I don't even know what age I was, and it had just a collection of all the stories, you know. That's the only thing I remember. And like I said, I didn't really think about them much for a long time, and it was only last year I reconnected with them.
How old would you have been when you recalled that book knocking about?
I'd say I was about 8 or 10 or something like that. Like, I loved reading. I just loved reading so many books when I was younger. So I just would have been one of many things that I read. But yeah, I still remember it, yeah.
And again, with the attention, you know, span with shorts from YouTube and videos on demand, as we just mentioned, like, reading books is also a bit of a rarity for people as well nowadays. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I'm very thankful of that habit that I built when I was a kid. Not because it's seen as almost like a chore that people do, or I should read now, it's good for my brain and so on. Yeah. But I just did it because I liked it.
A pleasure,
yeah, and like, it was maybe just before the smartphones. Yeah, it was just before smartphones took over, the last generation before. So it was a way for me to keep myself amused, but it also, I think, strengthened my brain, and I think gave me a lot of vocabulary in my conscious and subconscious mind that I can kind of draw on. So essentially I was training the whole time, although I didn't feel like it, and I think it's a great thing for kids to be reading. Yeah,
absolutely. So you, at the end of your performance there, you did mention a little upcoming launch that you're doing, and it is free admission for this launch. So where can people get hold of this access, and, you know, how can they get the information if they're not here at Fuinneamh at the moment? How can they find that from you?
So it's going to be launched in Halfpenny Bridge Inn, and it's going to be running in Halfpenny Bridge Inn. The launch is free. It'll be Sunday, 1st of October, at 5:30. And you can find me by messaging me on Instagram, Sean Cuddy Storyteller, and yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Fantastic, Sean. Absolutely brilliant. Real pleasure to be a part of the audience, and I feel like we stumbled across some fantastic performance that would have been really devastating to miss now after experiencing that. I'm very grateful that we were able to be a part of that, and good luck with the launch on everything that's upcoming, and sure, hopefully people can get involved and attend your upcoming gig, which is free, and link with your Instagram and all the other sort of platforms that we can see it on in the future. Yeah. We'll link you in with any sort of available links for promo to do with our podcast here, but thanks very much for your time.
Yeah, absolutely delighted to be here. Thanks very much for having me on, and yeah.
Great, thank you. Bye-bye. Just chatting with a lovely lady here who has been pitching a stall over the weekend here at Fuinneamh, and I'm going to get her to introduce herself, so off you go.
Hiya, I'm Louise. I've got my company is called Tie Dyes by Louise, and I sell tie-dye, homemade, hand-dyed. And yeah, Fuinneamh has been an amazing festival. I met loads of great people, so yeah, it's been good.
Is this your first time selling at Fuinneamh?
Yeah, it is proper. I've been here before lockdown, but it's a lot more different now after lockdown. So it's a lot more stuff. It's like we're really buzzing here this weekend. It's been great.
So in terms of sales, how's things been going for the weekend? Have you been very happy with it?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was worth it. And it's lovely to see people now wearing my stuff. In the nice weather, you can see it shining through. Yeah.
The rain held off, so everybody was saving the wonderful, appreciation of your products for the sunshine.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they came in over for the stuff, some dry stuff now after yesterday, so they're happy out. So I'm happy too.
No more soggy situations for anybody today.
That's it. Asher didn't stop anyone last night. They were loving it. You wouldn't even think it was raining. It was so much fun. Yeah.
It didn't stop anybody. It all came together.
Yeah.
So your products are wonderful here. So you say you do these at home. What sort of construct is that for you to make this happen?
So yeah, I do. I basically hand tie them and dye them myself, and I go to local markets and festivals at the weekends. And yeah, it's all go during the week to get everything organised for the weekends and the festivals and stuff. So yeah, it's been good. So yeah, it's ice dyes, tie dyeing. So you kind of, a lot of people are seeing a lot more ice dyes on a lot of on TikTok, and YouTube and stuff like that. So there's a lot more kind of people are seeing a lot more what it takes to what goes into it and stuff. So yeah, I do a lot of that.
Are you on TikTok showing this?
No, I'm not. I haven't. I set up a page, but I just didn't really bother.
What's your easy, accessible sort of point that people can get hold of you if they want to order anything?
So Tie Dyes by Louise, and I'm on Instagram and on Facebook is like basically the best spots. And there's a lowercase and underneath each word.
So what sort of work goes into the likes of the shoes here you have? Because I can see the laces and the rest of the runner is pretty bleach white, just to perfection. It looks flawless, and then you have your wonderful tie-dye effort there on the rest of the shoe. So like it looks tricky enough to get that so clear in the product. How does that go down for you?
A lot of masking tape and a lot of duct tape, and just block up the whites. I take out the laces, block up all the plastic whites on it, and then I just go away and tie-dye them with you can do different styles. You can do some with shaving foam, and they give you kind of different effects, but the ones I do, I kind of paint it on nearly like liquid dye. So you pull out, rinse everything off, and then you take off all your tape. So then you get your magical shiny shoe.
Well, it looks impeccably perfect. So I think you've done a great job on them.
Thank you.
And just to tell anybody who may be listening, just a couple of the items that I'm able to see here are dresses, t-shirts, pants, leggings, and even baby grows, which are absolutely beautiful. And I think I'm going to have to probably get hold of one of those for a friend of mine before the day is out. And yeah, the quality of it is really high standard. So I mean, you're getting a fantastic product for the money you're going to be putting in for it. And like she had even said herself there, that you can order them direct. You can see her at festivals. You can get hold of her if you want a personal commission. Yeah. Everything is doable.
Yeah, anything is possible, and I'm at Strantill Markets on Sundays in Sligo, so Strantill People's Market is my usual spot on Sundays, so I'm always there, and it's a good day out for people as well, like something to do.
Good, plenty of little knickknacks to kind of have a little look at.
Lots of
good stands and food, absolutely. Well, that's absolutely brilliant. Thanks very much for taking the time to have a chat. Yeah, I'm going to pick up one of these baby grows off you for little Riley that I know, and yeah, I think he's going to be styling, walking around, so he's going to be lucky to have something. Okay, thanks very much. I appreciate your time. You're very good.
Thank you very much for talking. It's been great. Thanks a million.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Cheers for tuning in and for the wonderful guests who had helped make this episode happen. If you want to know more about the festival, see fuinneamh.ie, and in the meantime, I'll catch you in the next episode.